Attracta from Attracta Beauty, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here today with Daniel Sandler. This is my first time to do an interview with another makeup artist, so I am very excited about this interview.
And I'm very privileged.
Thank you for agreeing to come in and doing my interview with me.
My pleasure.
Daniel Sandler, to those who don't know him, is a very eminent leading makeup artist who also has his own makeup brand. But more importantly today, I really want to discover more about Daniel's story and why he decided to start a makeup brand, which is a very big thing to do.
Yes, it is, completely.
Yeah.
So
can you...
We've got lots to cover.
We have lots and lots to cover, and I think I'd just like to start by asking you, how did you start out, going back to when you decided how to become a makeup artist?
When I was a boy, really.
Mm.
I think because I was always brought up with my father being a hairdresser and me working in his hair salon.
That's right.
I was always watching the transformation of ladies getting their hair done, going out looking glamorous. My mum was a very glamorous, beautiful woman, and I think being brought up in that environment, I knew firstly I understood the art of transformation.
Yeah.
And as a kid, as a teenager, living by King's Road, seeing all the new romantics and the punks go down the King's Road, I just absolutely loved the transformation.
Yes.
Of that they were probably quite ordinary people. But once you start colouring your hair and you're doing the most amazing exotic makeup on yourself, you can create some amazing imagery about yourself.
Yeah.
And I love the transformation, the imagery, the sense of fashion, the sense of rebellion as well, which I totally loved. And I started experimenting, putting makeup on me, on my friends. I wanted to look like David Bowie or Steve Strange. Boy George, I love that. So that
this was
really
very much 80s, 90s period.
Yeah,
which was exceptionally expressive in
wasn't
makeup.
It?
Exceptionally expressive in
so
makeup.
I was like 15, 16 when I realised what mascara could do. You know, I had little blue eyes with very blonde eyelashes. I was ginger. I wanted to look tanned. I wanted to look striking and stunning. So I really experimented on me an awful lot.
I like that word that you use, transformational, because I recently heard somebody in an interview saying makeup is transformative and it's there to transform you rather than to change you.
Yeah.
So it's not about changing your look, it's more about it's empowering and transformative.
Yeah, I think makeup is one of those wonderful things that helps you be who you want to be and how you want the world to see you.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's your story.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think certainly when I started to where we are today, and we will talk about this, but I think people have become much more expressive, and makeup at one stage, people would be very shy to talk about applying makeup or wearing makeup.
Yes.
But
especially here in the UK.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right.
And I think, after the wild 80s and the early 90s, then suddenly things makeup wise went really very, very safe, went very beige, very neutral.
Yeah.
Complexions were very matte. There wasn't much colour out there. We probably both, because I think I'm probably older than you, but we would have had to adapt and change our styles to carry on, at least editorially.
Absolutely.
To start going quite minimal.
Yes.
And enjoy using a lot of browns.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Which as a creative you don't always want to do you?
Yeah. No.
You like colour and you love
that
changing.
Expression.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the thing is, I think I think the fantastic thing about being a makeup artist, personally speaking, is that you can be so playful and you're not limited when you're on set, particularly when you're doing a beauty shoot in particular, and also testing as well was one of all of those amazing opportunities to really express yourself, and also the models and the photographers, everybody express themselves, and I think that's where the richness of creativity comes from during those periods of when we tested, maybe than sometimes when we were shooting editorial.
That's right, because most of the time as a makeup artist, what we do is just very nice, pretty natural makeup, and we've got to make that person who we're making up just look nice. It's very rare. Maybe these days it's more so, you can be more experimental, but in our day to make money you just had to do quite basic natural makeup. So at the end of the day the photographer would say, do something with the model, let's do something creative.
Yes,
and you'd bring something out, your magic box of tricks, that was, you know, oh God, it just enlivened your artistic flair, and it made you feel amazing. And you went home, whether it was 10 o'clock at night, but you just did something really creative, which both of us know that's really what makes us tick.
Well, exactly, and I think we're very privileged that when you're working with models from all over the world, it's amazing when you've got the beautiful bone structure or beautiful eye shape, it just takes you on an incredible journey of where you can go in changing and transforming somebody. Changing in the sense of transforming, because we are a blank canvas, and then you can become so creative. And I think Instagram and social media, Instagram makeup artists today, for example, that has really exploded.
It has.
For the general population.
Yeah, and what's interesting, of course, is that there are so many different styles of makeup now, and there's so many different areas of the industry where you can be now a successful makeup artist. You don't need an agent. You just have to have a great Instagram account and be sponsored by all these brands and do all these fantastic makeups. You've got a career.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, but that wasn't the case when we first started, and you needed agents and all this kind of thing. Now you can really you don't need anyone except a great camera, some great lighting, and kind of channel into you've got to have the business sense, of course, but you've got to channel into your creativity and have the followers.
Yes, and it's certainly a wonderful time to be expressive and to express yourself. As a makeup artist, as a professional makeup artist, and even also the public, the people who want to just be creative in their own homes. There's so much more freedom in that than there ever was.
That's right, everybody's got the platform now.
Absolutely. When what would you say was your first major breakthrough as a professional makeup artist?
I think
into the arena of editorial
that was probably when I think I was with an agency called Streeters that's still around, and I came from
the best agency in London, may I say? Absolutely, it was.
It
is still.
It is probably. They've still got amazing artists. I think what happened was that there was an artist who wasn't available to do a job, and suddenly I was working with Albert Watson for Vogue.
Fantastic.
That was really great, and that just kind of came out the last minute because this makeup artist had to pull out, so I was working with him. And then I got my next amazing job, probably 1990 something, was working with David Bailey for a cover of Elle, and then doing the Gucci fashion show was amazing. So there were like 3 or 4 things that kind of all sort of happened at the same time that you know, I was doing nice jobs. I was doing a lot of catalogue, and I was doing pop videos and loads of advertising and making good money and travelling the world. But you just need those few breaks to happen one after the other, and be lucky that the shoots actually got used. Because how many covers have we done that were never used?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Fashion shoots, beauty shoots that you just think, oh, I did such beautiful makeup, and at the last minute those stories were dead.
Cutting room floor.
It's really luck that you become a successful makeup artist in print, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of luck to do with it.
Well, it is a lot of luck, and also it's talent as well, because without a doubt, we were speaking about this earlier, I think it's not what you know sometimes, it's who you know, and if they like you and you do a very, very good job, they can open further doors for you. But at the same time, you have to be very talented at what you do, because then you're working at the high end. Nobody works with David Bailey and comes back unless you're very, very talented. Or nobody works on the Gucci show. So sometimes I think makeup artists, we undersell ourselves at times, and that's what I'm just listening to you. I just love that you've just dropped Gucci, David Bailey, Albert Watson. You know, there are major players.
I would have liked to work with Arthur Elgore, which was your wonderful story you told me. How you suddenly worked for Arthur Elgore because you met someone who gave you that opportunity, saying Arthur would love you in your work. And of course, once you start working with that creative team who you feel comfortable with, they feel comfortable with you. You work with people for a very long time, and you have a fantastic career. You know, and it's really, really great. And I don't know how someone would necessarily get into the editorial business now. I know that, you know, people are dying to get on Lisa Eldridge's team, you know, to support her in Fashion Week, hoping that they'll have an in that way to be a fashion makeup artist. Again, it's probably who you know, the parties you go to, who you associate yourself with, how you look, as well as the talent. You have to have that talent.
Yeah, you have to.
You'll get the opportunity and the talent, but there's so many boxes you've got to tick so that you'll be reused, and you just help it all kind of happens naturally. I never planned to have the career I had. I just wanted to do makeup. It just so happened that I knew hairdressers, because I said my dad was friends with Vidal Sassoon. He was friends with Terence Donovan, the fashion photographer. So I had a few entries into the industry that way. But you had to come up with the goods yourself after that. People will do you favors, of course, if you're lucky to help you get started. But you've got to come up with the goods, and they've got to think, yeah, this guy's all right, or this girl's all right. They're good at their job. I like having them in the studio. You've got to behave yourself. So I think once all that kind of happens, then you can start being successful and then work on your portfolio.
And I think also it's exceptionally important, if any aspiring makeup artist is looking at this video, I think it's so important, it's what you bring to the team.
That's right. Listen to your mum and dad.
The team is essential to come out with amazing editorial. Like Pat McGrath, Stephen Mazzell.
Yes.
She's worked with Stephen Mazzell
with Guido,
with Guido, etc. And it's very much, I think, when you become integrated as a team, you can only get better and better and better at what you do. But it's what you bring to the team, even in your personality, and how you make the models feel. I think as makeup artists, it's not of course it's our role to apply beautiful makeup and be creative in the face, but it's also about making the model feel amazing, hair and makeup in particular.
And we're like here, aren't we?
Exactly.
We are there. We're right in someone's face, and it can be 6 or 7 in the morning.
I know.
If it's an actress who's just, she flew in last night, she's staying at the Dorchester, you're in her funny little bathroom in the hotel.
Absolutely. Up close and personal.
Yeah, and you are there, in their space, in this very tight. So, and I think that I think makeup artists have a slightly different temperament and a way of approaching their craft, because you either are working on the side or you're working right at the front.
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit more gentle.
Absolutely.
Hairdressers usually have more of a bigger personality.
Yeah.
They're working from the back usually, obviously setting and drying and teasing and stuff. Yeah. So I always find that makeup artists are a little bit more calmer. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I always find makeup artists a little bit calmer, but hairdressers are generally a little bit more, here I am, it's the hair show, look how big hair I can do, but makeup just does something nice. And I suppose you have to have that balance of someone's got to be a little bit louder and out there, and then you've got to have, because having 2 creatives that are really very loud must just be like a headache.
It's getting the balance, I think.
You know what I mean, don't you?
Absolutely. Makeup artists sometimes just get on with the job, where hairstylists have to express themselves a lot in what they're going to do.
What's the saying? I know this makeup artist who's really over the top and camp and throws glitter at everyone. Of course there are makeup artists out there, but I think on a job, when you work intimately in a very tight group, the dynamic has to work really well, that there aren't too many strong personalities in one place, because
but it doesn't work in a team.
It can detract from what you're actually supposed to be focusing on.
Yes. Do you love being a makeup artist?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever heard a makeup artist saying, I hate my job. I've never heard. Or even a hairstylist.
Shall I tell you for why?
Yeah, exactly, because that's my question to you.
Oh, is it? Go on, ask me a question.
How has working in makeup impacted your life? I want to just ask you, did you love what you did? Because you're bubbling up.
Yeah, I think that
with enthusiasm of what you love about being.
I've always loved what I can do naturally, that I've never really had to work hard at trying to do. So I was never good at sciences, at maths and chemistry. That side of my brain didn't work. I loved looking at, going to the portrait gallery or exhibitions. I loved doing makeup. That kind of fed me, made me feel happy, made me feel creative and alive. So doing makeup kind of feeds my soul and my spirit, because I just love that creativity of playing with colours, playing with textures, making someone look and feel fantastic is obviously really important. But I never found it hard work. I loved going to the studio. I loved going on the trips. I really enjoyed it, and I got paid. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have to slog for years to get a university degree. As I say, I wasn't that academic. So, and I've generally if something hasn't come naturally to me, I've thought, well, that's not right for me. Makeup came naturally to me. I had to hone my skill like you did. It takes years to develop your style.
Did you assist anybody?
No, I didn't, and I kind of wish I think I would have learnt more if I had. I think that kind of would have fast tracked me to meet people, but there weren't really that many opportunities to assist. Do you remember?
I did actually. I started my career.
Was that for shows?
Yes, for shows.
So who did you assist?
I trained at the Glycoroshi School of Makeup.
Oh gosh.
And after I finished there,
she was terrifying, by the way. She was terrifying.
Glyca or me?
Glauca. Very strict.
She was. Glycoroshi was. She was.
But very nice.
Extremely. I learned so much from her. You didn't put an eyeliner wrong.
I was just going to say, because I've heard stories about the eyeliner.
Absolutely, yeah. No, she had a very, very high standards. And I think then when I went onto this set, you were well trained. She trained you so well because she was a fashion makeup artist. And she knew the career. She knew that the pathway that you were going to have to go into. But I wrote a letter to Lisa Eldridge.
Right.
Back in the day when people wrote letters,
like
I wrote
Dear
to
Santa.
an agency. Yeah, dear Lisa.
We didn't write to Dear Santa, it'd be Dear Lisa.
Yeah, dear Lisa. And dear Lisa contacted me about 6 months later and said, I've had your letter for this length of time, and I've meant to get back to you, and I'd love if you want to come down and be on a shoot with me.
Fantastic.
So my first person I ever assisted was Lisa Eldridge.
Right.
And we're still friends today.
Yeah.
But yes, I did a lot of assisting. I assisted Pat. I assisted Kevin O'Coin.
Oh my God.
Tom Peugeot. All of those guys.
The best of the best.
The best of the best. Yeah. I had one of the most enriching experiences that I still love is the fashion shows.
Right.
And I worked with all of those amazing greats, and I would call masters of makeup and hair in Paris, Milan, and London. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Daniel, but I want to get back to you and what you're doing in reference to your own career now.
Right.
As I said earlier, Daniel has his own magnificent makeup brand, Daniel Sandler Cosmetics. And one thing that I've noted...
It's original, that name, isn't it?
Yes. One thing that I noted you had said, and I love, your tagline is "Be your most beautiful."
Yeah.
And you've also written, "I feel there is a lot of unfair pressure on women to look as perfect as airbrushed images of celebrities and models, which upsets me. I believe that a woman can look her most beautiful with makeup techniques and shades that bring out her natural beauty." And then you also speak about your makeup range is a professional makeup range. What do you mean by that?
Well,
because it's very rare that I've ever seen a professional makeup
I think because I've got such exacting standards, and after years of working with so many different products, and I found colours that may have looked nice, but the actual product itself wasn't great to work with. What I've tried very hard to instill into my own brand is that the formula is of the highest standard, and because I work a lot with Kryolan, who are a professional cosmetic manufacturer based in Berlin, they make my watercolour blushes for me. They will be of the highest standard because they understand that professional needs a particular formula that goes on, looks natural, lasts a long time, performs beautifully, you know, and that sort of thing.
I think one thing I love particularly about makeup artists who bring out their own brands over the decades is a lot of more luxury brands, and I'm just thinking of this now actually, I think a lot of luxury and high street brands are always following the lead of what makeup artists do for editorial. They're always trying to create what product did they use, because makeup artists and hairstylists, I believe, were like alchemists. So even though we have an array of products with us, we will keep mixing, and hence I think when you talk about your professional makeup range, it is seen through the eyes, and it's been delivered through the eyes of an artist.
Yeah, well, I'm glad about that. I mean, there's a lot of people who will put their name to their product, and they may not be there at the basic start of the process of creating that product. They're just getting a nice big fat check or a royalty. But what I put my name on is that I know that I've been there at the grassroots, at not just the concept, but bringing that product to the table from all the stages. And to create a product will take me, sometimes up to 3 years to create the most perfect, that I think the perfect formula, the perfect shade that does everything I need to. It can be a frustrating and lengthy process and expensive, but it's worth it, and I think that's what I want people to have in their handbag.
But I absolutely agree. It does. Like, I think all of your years of experience is condensed into what you have created, and particularly I love your liquid blushes, watercolor liquid blushes, which we will speak about in a moment.
But you sorry to interrupt, but you made a really very good point about that we are the creatives, so we're the makeup artists who create their own brands, really understand products, whereas a lot of brands
all of your
out
knowledge
there
is distilled into that product.
And you said that some brands are heavily influenced by what a makeup artist brand will create, and I think the reason is that those brands that do, let's say, copy, for want of a better word, what a makeup artist brand is doing, it's because they're not creative. They're marketing people, they're advertising people, they've got a lot of money, they're accountants who want to jump onto a certain bandwagon. So us smaller brands do a lot of the hard work, and then you've got the marketing people in the bigger brands who just jump onto that, and they're the ones who take it to mass market, that make an awful lot of money. That's basically how it goes.
Yes, and also sometimes I feel that when a big brands buy out independent brands who have maybe been started by a makeup artist, their heart and soul is missing then. There's an
there's no
emptiness.
heart and soul.
Yeah, it becomes then a commercial product rather than actually
it's a 5-year
your fingerprint
product.
or your signature is still on it.
No, if they get, if a small brand is bought out by capital investment, those investors will want within 5 years to get their money back many times over, and they will do whatever it takes. They're to make their money back. They're not interested in the heart and soul of the product or the ethics of the brand. That all generally goes out the window.
What would you say is one of your favorite products at this moment? Not maybe from your own brand, but because it's very of course you love everything that you've created, but from other products as well.
Gosh, that's hard to say.
Or what was maybe one of the first products that you've used in the past and you still use it today because it's so good?
Do you know what? Vaseline, petroleum jelly.
Yes.
And I know people will say, petroleum jelly and all this kind of thing, but it's cheap, it's fantastic. It can be an amazing moisturizer. It can be, it helps to lock moisture into the skin. You can't use it every night on your face and stuff, but it's great as a lip balm. It's great to make an eyelid gloss.
Absolutely.
I know there's the Estee Lauder 8-hour cream, which is a great product as well. Vaseline you can rub into your cuticles. I've always loved the idea of something functional that's cheap and cheerful. But what upsets me is when things have a huge price tag on them, like skincare and cosmetics, that's really not necessary. And I hate the idea that people are paying an awful lot of money when they don't really need to. I think that's really unfair on the customer.
Well, there's so much choice at the moment, and I think when people are investing in a high quality product, it has to be the best, because it's not fair on if it's just if the pack. I don't think the product, the pigment and the product should be brilliant, and you shouldn't just be paying for the packaging.
No, for sure.
Because I think as makeup artists, we've always known that sometimes some of the best products can equally be very, very affordable, such as Vaseline. You don't have to pay. Don't have to go to the extreme to get the effect.
No.
Yes.
I mean, come on. If somebody says, Daniel, what would you rather have in your bathroom? A really nice pot of creme de la mer or a tub of Vaseline? I'd grab the creme de la mer.
Exactly.
As long as they gave it to me for free, I wouldn't pay that.
You're buying into the experience.
You are. And the idea of luxury, I think that the whole idea of getting ready in the morning or getting ready to go out to a party in the evening, bringing out that Chanel lipstick at the dining table and reapplying, there's a whole wonderful feeling that makeup can give you. And if you enjoy treating yourself to expensive products and you've got the budget to do that, fantastic. You will feel and look $1 million. But the thing is that when one person says this cream is amazing and everyone goes out and buy it, everyone's skin tone is different, everyone's skin texture is different.
Absolutely,
So that kind of confuses me sometimes when people are so influential and they say you've got to buy this. Well, it worked for them, but I don't want to spend that money in case it doesn't work for me.
I think when you do find the brand that works for you, or the brands that work for you, whether it's skincare and makeup, it really is an investment. I think when people go and invest in a lot of money in skincare, it truly is a very personal investment in you. And there's nothing as precious, I know, as a makeup artist, just placing my hands on another person's skin, or even on my own skin. It's just such a tender thing to do.
It's the little things, isn't it?
Well, absolutely.
And it's so special.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. If you weren't in makeup, what do you think you would be doing?
This is the hardest thing. I really do. Do you know what I wanted to be when I was younger? I wanted to be an actor.
Wow.
I really did. I wanted to be on stage.
Yeah.
And when I was at school, I always tried to get into the school play. But as soon as they learnt that I liked doing makeup, or that because I played the violin for years, I'd be in the orchestra.
Yes.
Or I would be doing makeup for the actors on stage. So there were enough. I was at school with Hugh Grant, and he's a couple of years older than me.
Hugh.
So I powdered his little face a couple of times, and but they always like bung me in the orchestra. But I think I would have loved to have been, an actor in the theatre, not necessarily the movies, but in the theatre.
Yes.
That I think I would have really liked.
Well, in many ways, also when you're a makeup artist, I think you're a chameleon, and I think what we do as makeup artists, we are creating. It's another form. It's another expression of transforming.
Yeah.
As we do in makeup or when
True.
you're an actor. So
True. I think I've been
step to the side.
That's right. I think I've been better at helping people look how they want, rather than myself projecting. Oh, this doesn't sound right, but what I'm trying to say is I've always been able. I think I'm better at supporting someone to look and feel their best rather than do that for myself. So I think as an actor, I probably wouldn't have had the right character to do it, but as a makeup artist, yes, I can support someone and make them look great and help them achieve what they want to achieve with how they look.
What's the most enriching thing being a makeup artist for you?
I think it has to
How
be...
does being a makeup artist enrich you?
When the person who I've made up loves how I've made them look, especially if they've been through some kind of illness like chemo and had cancer, had chemo, or they've had some kind of surgery or some terrible trauma. At this stage of my life now specifically, I love to be able to help women who've had a hard time, don't feel feminine, don't feel pretty, low self-esteem. You just show them how to make their skin look great, give their eyes a bit of definition, put some colour in their cheeks, make their lips look fuller, make them look how they want to look, and suddenly you just see someone's shoulders rise, their neck elongates, and this is, I think, the power of the makeup artist, and what I love doing is just being able to just help build someone's confidence about themselves who feels pretty shitty about themselves. Quite honestly, I think that's the most wonderful thing you can do, is to help someone. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I love being a makeup artist, and there's like any career, there is positive and negatives, but overall, I just think it's one of the most enriching things.
It's nice, isn't it?
To do, to beautify. You're creating beauty, and not only maybe externally, but also it's how you, as you said earlier, it's how you are working with that person and how you're making them feel. So
that's a good buzz.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going on, you said about adding colour and health and vitality. One of the things that one of the products that I love from your range, and this is not an ad, because people, if you go on my Instagram, you'll always see me photographing why I always keep using your liquid blushes. Can you explain why you brought out a liquid blush rather than a powder blush, because that was revolutionary at the time?
I think because I'm someone who doesn't always work with brushes, and I like working with fingers, and I think some textures work slightly better with fingers. Some makeup textures work better with the warmth of the finger. And I wanted to create a liquid because I wanted something that really stayed put, made skin look alive,
Yeah.
whereas a powder can sometimes make the skin look a little bit dry.
Yeah, and tired.
Yeah, a little bit lackluster.
Yeah.
They can wear off quite quickly.
Yeah, it's flat. The pigment is flat. I love what I love about your watercolors. They just have got this luminosity. It's nearly like that. It's the no make. They so complement the no makeup look, which I think everyone wants now. That is he or is he not, or she wearing makeup?
Yeah, I've always liked makeup that looks very
enhancing.
Seamless.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I love makeup that you can't see where it begins and ends.
Yeah.
And I think that if you can work with products that let you achieve this beautiful finish where you can't see where the blusher starts and finishes, it doesn't look like that person's got really blusher on. If somebody says, "Oh, your makeup looks nice," I always think I've not done a great job.
Yeah.
But if you just get the compliment, that person looks great, or what did you do? You say to somebody, "Wow, you look amazing. Have you just come back from holiday?"
Yeah.
She's got a ton of makeup on there, but it's so beautifully applied, and she's got the right products here and there, and the right colours and the right textures. For me, that's kind of how I like makeup to look.
Yeah.
I know it's quite anti-fashion because makeup, especially on the youngsters these days, is very literal.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of matte foundation, a lot of contour, a lot of highlighter, a lot of brows, a lot of lips. You know, there's that copycat kind of look that a lot of the youngsters go for these days. But maybe if I was younger, I would be into that too. Yeah. But as someone now in their 50s, I just like to pare it back quite a bit.
But I think it's just this. A lot of people now see themselves through the eyes of the camera rather than maybe in true reality.
Yeah.
But if people want to be playful, and I think there's always lessons to be learned in any decade or any generation of what we're doing in makeup. And I think now we're in a period of Instagram makeup, and how people are expressive in that way.
I think people will look. You know, people who are doing. I know as a kid, when I was like 17, 18, I was whacking on the fake tan. I thought I looked amazing. I must have looked a right state. And I do wonder if some of these girls and boys in like 20 years time, when they look back and they think, "Oh my God, did I really put all that contour?" It's like people in the 70s and they look at pictures of themselves now, back in the 70s, think, "Oh my God, did I really wear those flares?"
Oh yeah, or did I ever wear that blue eyeshadow?
It's mostly you're beautiful, Attracta.
Thank you.
You see, there we go.
Yeah,
that's
I
all
would say
right.
thank you. And I think what it is, I think as makeup artists, it's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, we can't go around and we're expressive.
Yeah.
And I would say beauty does not go unrecognized. And when you see beauty, and we flow in creating that, it's nearly impossible not to honor. You know, wow, you are so beautiful.
Yes.
Whether it's in nature or it's in a human being or it's in the animal kingdom, it's impossible not to be expressive.
Exactly.
In what beauty is.
And I think that
and at the same time, as you say, some people are very sensitive.
They are.
And it's showing respect, really.
It is, but you know what? I always think that it's intention. If I intended to upset that person by saying you're beautiful, however screwy that sounds, that to give someone a compliment is actually an insult, and it was my intent to undermine her some way, then I would understand. But I was very, very natural, and just giving someone a compliment, I just thought was nice. If somebody said to me, "Wow, you've got lovely eyes," or "Wow, you look really good today," I'd absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
More of that, please.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think I like to receive compliments. I like to give compliments that are genuine, and I love to receive a compliment when it's genuine.
Yeah.
And I think you know the difference.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I think everyone will always know when a compliment is genuine.
Yeah.
It'll always rest.
Yeah.
In the right. But if you are faking it, people pick that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
In this very modern world that we are now in the digital world, what would your advice be to an aspiring makeup artist who wants to get into the professional fashion and beauty arena?
I think it has to be that you have to be able to bring something to the table that is unique. You have to develop your own style. I think having an online presence, having a Facebook and Instagram account is great, but don't copy everybody else's makeup so you look like you're just doing what everyone else is doing. Really work on your own creativity and work with people and socialize and hang out with people who have the same vibe as you, that you feel like a wonderful unit together. I think that's for editorial, that has to be where it's at. Work with a young photographer, young hairdresser, young fashion stylist, where you're all on the same wavelength. Work hard, stay dedicated. It will happen for you at some point.
And I think also on social media, certainly with Instagram at the moment, that is your portfolio.
Yeah.
So be mindful what you're putting up there in your portfolio, because you can reach out and and I think you can even maybe reach out more now, rather than having to be with an agent. Agencies are very important still, and I think social media has also transformed that. It's more flexible now in how you can meet people.
I think so, and I think for me as a makeup artist, when people have sent me their website imagery or portfolio pictures, or sent me to their Instagram page, and I've seen a lot of heavily retouched images, I can't really tell, for example, if I was doing a show, how that makeup artist would actually do makeup in reality, because the images are so retouched. How can I tell what they've actually done? So I think there has to be an element of your work which is not over retouched.
Yes. What is next for Daniel Sandler?
Well, we'll have a cup of tea on the bed, probably. We might get in the bed and have a nap. The brand is doing really well.
Good.
I really want a presence in America, because 60% of my products get shipped to the US, and I'm working very hard to get some physical presence over in the US. And I'm working on some new products and new ideas, which I'm very excited about, which I can't talk about, unfortunately. But there's always new and exciting things on the horizon, and I will share them with you next time.
Thank you. Well, I think with your tagline, "Be your most beautiful," I think Daniel Sandler will always be very successful, because it's coming. I think what a beautiful tagline. Be your most beautiful.
Thank you. And it's been great sharing time with you, Attracta. You're just amazing, so thank you.
Well, thank you, Daniel Sandler.